What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. In this video, I've got another very important AMC update to bring all of you this afternoon. So what we're going to be covering in this video is a brief Ortex update to look at the short interest and particularly the utilization, which I believe to be the most important indicator that we have at the current time. Then we're going to move on to this potential gamma squeeze that we have on hand. We have seen some pretty significant price movements to the upside for AMC this week, and there are a lot of call options out there that need to be hedged by these institutions, and there is kind of a large wall of call contracts that we do see coming into play throughout the end of this week, and that could really send us higher. We also have Citadel selling a large portion of their AMC position. And something that I really want to get across to you guys, this new wave of margin calls that we know for sure is going to be starting in the beginning of September surrounding these OTC derivatives. And we also know that the derivative exposures of a lot of these institutions is sky high. And these initial margin requirements that we could potentially see increase in Q4 is just going to make it even worse for any institution that has over leveraged themselves on not only AMC and GameStop shorts, but any other position that they have. So before we get into all of that information, if you enjoyed the information and analysis that I provide for you in this video, make sure you go down and hit that like button. It costs you nothing to do it, but it really helps us out a whole lot in getting this information out to as many people who want to learn. And if you want to see more videos like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button. So at the current time that I'm recording, AMC is trading at $36.58, up about 2.6% on the day. We did see a very significant price movement to the upside, and if you guys have been watching to my videos, my appearances on TMI's live streams, or even my live streams, we were calling for a break above 37 or 38 to send even more contracts in the money. Now, we did see a couple of those breaks today, but we're really going to need to stay above there in order to see those large price movements to the upside. Now, coming over to Ortex, we're seeing the utilization at 91.77%. It is coming down slightly, but again, the utilization is still sky high. When we see the utilization continuously creep up, it makes it more difficult for these institutions to get their hands on more real shares to short. Current short interest right now, 18.13%, still incredibly high, even if for the off chance reason that this was the only short interest out there, which we know Ortex is kind of giving us the bare minimum baseline estimate, and retail and institutions are owning a significant, if not more than the amount of available shares out there, this squeeze would still be very significant. Now, let's talk about this potential gamma squeeze situation. When we come over to Stonko Tracker, we can see that we already have about 91,000 contracts in the money expiring at August 20th. Now, at 38, there's an additional 25,000 contracts. When we come over to the actual option chain for AMC, we can see that there's 30 at the $37 strike, there's 10,000, 38, there's 9,000, 39, not so much, but at 40, 26,000 contracts. That is a very significant amount. If we can get above 40 or even close enough to 40 this week, where we see these institutions input this buying volume due to their hedging process by covering a lot of these contracts, we are going to see the price move significantly to the upside. Now, I know a lot of people have been calling for a reversal of the downtrend that we have seen in August. Actually, this option chain just updated right now, 35,000 at this $40 strike. That is very significant. And if we can see this trend reversal going into September, which is another huge monthly options expiration date, we could potentially see some very significant price movements to the upside. Now, moving on to this institutional situation, when we come over to Market Beat right here, we can see that institutions have bought AMC to the tune of $3.28 billion in Q2. Now, these 13F filings are still coming in, but again, the fact that we are seeing institutions holding and buying this much AMC even after that June run-up where we saw that significant run-up all the way into the $70 range, all the way back down to this $30 to $40 range that we are seeing right now, shows me and really signifies that these institutions are willing to hold through these ups and downs because they are looking for a very, very high price movement to the upside. Now, let's get into this Citadel situation. When we come over to Fintel right here, we can see that on August 16th, Citadel advisors right here, they increased their call position by about 45%. Coming down right here, their share position, they have decreased their shares by 81%. Now, here's something I really want to get across to you guys. Nobody knows for sure that Citadel is the big bad guy that is shorting AMC. We know that their market-making activities probably don't add a lot of competition, healthy competition to the market. So I understand the argument against Citadel in that fashion. But when you look at the actual ways that short positions are reported, no institution has to report a short position on their 13F filing. So we're never really going to know for sure who are the big bad guys who are shorting AMC until we potentially see those major collapses of a lot of these institutions. Now, in addition to this, I really want to get into how big these NSCC rule changes are. When we come over to this tweet right here from Kringle, again, shout out to Kringle. He is a very, very smart individual. If you guys don't know who he is already, make sure you guys go give him a follow on Twitter. Now, NSCC 005, he's providing some clarity here. Every NSCC participant must provide a collateral minimum required fund deposit, which will be increased from $10,000 to $250,000. The important thing that I don't think a lot of people realize was that some of the biggest members have dozens of registered accounts with the NSCC. So let's suppose, for example, that Goldman Sachs would have 30 accounts with the NSCC. They would have to provide $7.5 million worth of collateral. So you can see how this situation, even though that $250,000 doesn't seem like a lot. One, it's only the minimum. And two, if you have multiple accounts with the NSCC, then you are going to be paying a lot of money in order to be able to actually engage in these types of services that the NSCC is providing. Now, remember how I just said that $250,000 is going to be the minimum? Well, when we come over to this filing that I have shown you guys many times, this is a comment section from Alpine Securities. We can see that down here, this is not an idle concern. On two separate occasions this year, representatives from the DTCC have informed Alpine that the NSCC plans to seek an increase to the minimum capital requirement to $10 million for correspondent clearing firms such as Alpine. Such change would obviously be hugely impactful, if not fatal, to Alpine, to other similarly situated smaller members, and to their customers who rely on Alpine and other small members for market access for trading. You can see how this situation is really starting to come to fruition. And when we come over to this notice by the DTCC, I think this is what a lot of people were confused upon when people were saying you don't necessarily know that margin calls are coming. You are incorrect. And when we look here, we can see that the phase 5 of uncleared margin rules for over-the-counter derivatives, which kicks in on September 1st. This is a direct comment from the Depository Trust and Clearing Company. There will be an upsurge in the volume of margin calls and an increase for the need for third-party custodians to keep safe collateral. As a result, UMR will likely require many buy-side firms to make significant changes to their existing collateral management process. We have this on the horizon. We have NSCC 005 upping the initial margin required fund deposit. We have NSCC 002 coming in and essentially monitoring the margin exposure every single day. So a lot of people have been saying, well, there's not really anything that we can see that the NSCC or the DTCC or any of these new proposed rule changes are doing for us as AMC shareholders. That is not necessarily the case. We are going to have to wait and see how this plays out. And this is just one of the ways that a lot of the liquidity is being drained from a lot of these institutions. Now, if one institution starts to topple, then it's going to affect other ones as well. So we have a very interesting situation at foot right now. And I am very excited as to where this is going to take us with all of our AMC positions. But again, we are seeing a lot of volatility this week for AMC. This is something I talked about in this weekend's update, where we were looking at a lot of the options that were right around the money for AMC in terms of their open interest, meaning that those were the amount of contracts that people were holding in their brokerage accounts. We did see that break up for AMC, so the fuel to the fire was added by a lot of these calls, but this is not the end. If we can continue to see upside into tomorrow, Thursday, and even Friday, this could really reverse the trend that we have seen on AMC over the past couple of weeks and months. And I think that is going to add a lot of emotional benefit to a lot of people who are buying in at these higher levels. So that is going to wrap up this update on AMC. If you enjoyed the information and analysis that I provided for you in this video, make sure you go down and hit that like button. It costs you nothing to do it, but it really helps us out a whole lot in getting this information out to as many people who want to learn. And if you want to see more videos like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell so you're notified every time I post a new video, so you get to stay up to date on all of your favorite stocks, learn about a couple of new ones, and see exactly which options I am trading and which strategies I am using to trade them. So I hope you guys are having a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next video.